Is it 7 o'clock?
It is.
It is. Let's get
Seven-
started.
7
Tanya
a.m.
should be here. But let's begin then. Okay. We have an agenda. Minutes approval. Any discussion about the minutes from last month?
No, thank you for writing them up, Jim.
Sure.
They look good.
Thank you. Yep, they look good, Jim. So
Shall I make a motion?
Yep.
Motion to accept the minutes from last month.
And a second.
I will.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, done. Budget review. So it looks like,
I'm sorry, before we go on, do we have a quorum right now? Is this a quorum?
without Tanya, wait, let's see.
Yeah. You have
Okay.
7?
Yes,
Okay.
Yeah, you have 7,
okay.
because you have 5 out of 7, sorry.
Okay.
It's okay, so budget review, I see that, Andrea, you were able to give Staples some money, is that true?
So this this printout is not showing the refunded $512.25. But I did confirm with Debbie, who's in our finance department, and we did get that refund back. It's just not showing here. So we did get the full $512 back for the brochures. I haven't gone to Staples yet to pay, but I believe we did agree to pay half, correct?
Yes.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so I plan to go there and do that. She didn't give me like an invoice or anything, so she, was like, oh, when you come by, but I do want to do that and, make sure they get their money.
Okay, so that's going to be squared away soon.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. Okay, and I see that the money was recorded from Bert DeVries for Don Richardson's tree.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't see yet that the $2,500 has been recorded for the bench. Do you know if that's come in, Stephanie or Andrea? She said she sent it.
That would go to Parks though, wouldn't it? It wouldn't come to us, it would go to Parks.
Right,
Well, it goes to Margaret though. She records it.
yeah, but it's gonna go
But it
into.
wouldn't
the
show on
park.
our budget.
It's not gonna show on your
Oh, I'm
budget.
sorry. It won't show.
Because it's in a
budget.
park. It's a bench for a park.
Okay,
Right.
okay,
Mhm.
my mistake. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Do we, if that came yet?
I can double
I'm
check
not-
tomorrow.
Yeah, we can double check tomorrow if it came in or not. I don't recall.
She told me that she sent it.
I do have another something to say about the budget. So it seems that we never got refunded from the county theater for the deposit that was put down for the movie that we were going to play. And I checked in the 2019 budget as well as the 2020 budget, and there's no record of us getting refunded for that, even though there was correspondence between Stephanie Ann and Shannon over at the county. So I've called a couple times, left some messages, sent some emails. So I don't know if they're just not open or if they're running at, if I don't know what's going on. But that is something I'm working on, and hopefully, we can get that back into the budget.
Okay, thanks for working on that, Andrea.
Mhm.
Okay, anything else about the budget? Okay, moving along, new business. I included a draft letter to residents. Stephanie, I did get your email. I really appreciate it. I just thought
Yeah.
that since we talked about whether we should do something or nothing for about residents in their tornado loss, about their tree loss during the tornado, I thought I would just attach that and see if there is use for that letter. If there's no use for that letter, should we just scrap it? Should we use it? Should we revise it somehow and use it? When would we do so? Is it important for EAC to say something to residents who lost trees?
I would hold off on that right now, because one of the things I've done is reach out to the Arbor Day Foundation. And one of the things that the Arbor Day Foundation does is they actually work on something called a recovery program, specifically for situations like ours, okay? So if you think about, it's called their Community Tree Recovery Program. And I spoke with Lachelle Bradley Williams this morning, had a really great conversation with her, talked to her about the EAC and your goals and the tornado that we experienced and the trees. And they would love to work with us on a program. And typically what they do, and she sent me the proposal, and we complete a proposal. We explain the situation. We explain why we want to plant trees, and we kind of figure out what needs to be done. They then look for sponsors who want to sort of underwrite a portion of a project like this, and whether it's in public or private spaces, because, you know, we talked before about, you know, we can't go on to someone's, and a lot of this damage that was done is on private property. Some of it was along the bypass, and we'll probably, as part of this community tree recovery, kind of do kind of a two-prong approach, try to get some trees that we could plant along the bypass, where, especially near Country Brook, where people were lost trees, and that was sort of their sound barrier, if you will. And, you know, I think the other one is people who want to have trees in their backyards and replant and reforest their neighborhoods, because those were heavily treed areas, wooded areas in our community. And so, you know, I think, you know, to replace that sort of flora and fauna in our community, we want to work under the Arbor Day program. She said, you know, we're only like a month since it occurred. It's kind of raw for everybody right now, Janine. And I think we need time for people to kind of heal, but we should probably look at maybe a spring program, get more of an assessment of the area and what the needs might be, and do the proposal and see how we could work with, you know, the Arbor Day Foundation in this community tree recovery program. I mean, if you think of like California and the forest fires they have, this is what they do. You think of Puerto Rico and the hurricane and the devastation. So although ours, in comparison to those others, are a little smaller, I think we still, you know, need to have the vitality back of those wooded areas in our community and the habitat they provide. I mean, a couple days after the tornado, maybe about a week or so, Hal and I were sitting, and Heidi and Janine will appreciate this. We're sitting at the kitchen table, and I looked out, and on our neighbor's deck was this hawk. I mean, this beautiful, majestic bird. And I'm like, okay, I have never seen. And Hal was like, and I'm like, look at that bird. I'm like, what kind of bird is that? And he said he believed it's a hawk. I do have a photo of it. I can have you two verify, you know, what it's been. But, you know, I'm like, why is it there? You know, like, this is crazy. And then all of a sudden I thought, it's had to have come, like, he's lost and has probably been displaced, because, you know, I'm like probably less than a quarter mile from where everything took place. So he probably came from that tornado area.
Wow.
So I think having this, but I think we should work with the Arbor Day Foundation. I think that would be the appropriate pathway. So
Like a great idea.
yeah, so let's get that proposal in, and then we can think about how we want to communicate that with the neighborhoods.
Let's talk about,
You know,
when to put the proposal in and who
Yeah.
should do it.
yeah, I think, you know, Andrew and I got a lot on our plate right now with the 12th, but after that, I'll give it to Andrew, and she and I'll kind of go through it, and we'll work on it, and then we can share it with you guys as well.
Great.
And because I think there's probably a section that, you know, the EAC can probably
Explanation.
help explain the why, and,
Yeah.
you know, that kind of thing. So
And-
I think that would be, let's wait till after the 12th, you know, it's
Okay.
maybe a week away. We can begin to work on that, but I think we'll have time, because instead of trying to do it right now and try to say, oh, we want to do a planting in a month. No.
No.
I think this is something we need to be working on for the spring or even next fall, you know, because people are still doing cleanup out there and stuff. So I think I'd suggest holding off on your letter. Let's work with the Arbor Day Foundation. I mean, we've been a Tree City for over 20 years. I mean, I feel like, you know, this is where they can help us.
Yeah, that letter was just to get this conversation started, really. So
Right.
That's
Yeah.
great. Did you know
Mhm.
about this community tree recovery program before, or is this something you just discovered?
Well, when I was looking at the devastation and everything, I thought, you know, who can help us trees? And I'm like, wait a minute, we've been doing Tree City and Arbor Day. And I'm like, I'm calling them. And they said, oh, you know, go to our website. And I started the conversation and was like, oh, that's us.
Yep, that's
We,
us.
we are in need of tree recovery. Yeah. And I looked at, and you can look at it if you go to the Arbor Day Foundation website, you can see the information that they have out there and what they do. And I was surprised, you know, it's not like the little saplings, you know, that sometimes you see that they give out on Arbor Day, or the little whips. These are like 5 to 7 gallon trees, you know.
Oh, that's
And
good. That's better.
It's 6 feet in high. Yeah. So, I mean, these are going to be some substantial size, because I was worried about that, because they really weren't clear on, like, you know, how big it, and I'm like, because when we do our tree plantings, we're looking at some of those 2 to 3 inch calibers. And I'm like, you know, we need something substantial. We don't need, you know, because I mean, I can tell, you know, if you get those little tiny ones, nobody's going to plant them.
They never make it here.
They know. Yeah. I mean,
They're
I
always
know they've given away in the borough. We tried it. It didn't even last a week before like a lawnmower went over it. It was so
Yeah.
tiny. You couldn't even see it. So I'm excited about this tree recovery program with the Arbor Day Foundation. And I would suggest, let's take a stab at that and see, you know, what we can bring forth.
Okay, so we'll look forward to seeing more on that when you see the,
Mhm. Sure.
the proposal form. Heidi?
Stephanie, is this being communicated to the neighbors that lost their trees that you're gonna be moving?
Not yet. Not yet. It's too soon. It's too soon. We need to kind of get a little bit more going and everything. And then we've got some point people in the neighborhoods. So I want to work with them, because I think that'll be helpful as well.
Right. Okay, well, if there's something
Mhm.
DHC can do, of course we will.
Absolutely.
Great. Thank you.
Mhm.
So I also attached an insecticide-free zone sign because it did come up at our meeting last month. It was just a thought. It's an idea. We can reject it, we can accept it, we can do something with it. What do you guys think? Should we bother with that, or is that just a throwaway?
I like it. I think it's a great idea.
Gene, I like it too, but I would only like it if there's going to be a demand, if people want them. In other words, if it's just going to be 4 or 5 of us that put them on our lawns, then I'm not sure it's worth it. But, and I guess if we were having a table event, for example, and where people could come and say, yeah, I'd like to have that, then we'd have some gauge if people are really interested in that. So I like it, and you know, of course, if we could make it more colorful.
Oh yeah, that's just text. It would be.
Yeah.
It
But
would
I don't know, you know, I don't know that, like, remember, go back, we had those magnets. Remember the magnets?
Oh yeah.
The infamous magnet.
Nobody really wanted them. So I'm reluctant to invest anything, either effort or money, unless we know there's a demand for them. And so my feeling is that when we're back to table events, that maybe we give it a trial run and see what the demand is from the public. I'm not sure I would do it right now.
I don't know about how much expense there would be. Andrea, you have made very nice signs before for such things as the old growth forest network celebration. How much do those signs cost? Just to give us a ballpark.
Yeah. So it possibly is something that we could, excuse me, like DIY in a way.
Mhm.
Somehow with the metal, we could, you know, purchase the metal kind of square and then maybe put something on top of it. Or I know, you know, they do offer yard signs and campaign signs that we could purchase from like Staples or something. And I think they're probably, you know, around like $1 to $2 each. So if you guys wanted to spend some money, you know, we could get them professionally like printed. I don't know what we have at the township to make our own signs. I'd have to check with what Parks potentially has, but I think what they have is probably theirs for like concerts and stuff.
Mhm. Or
So we probably,
Maybe
What was that?
temporary, maybe they're more temporary signs rather than something that would last a couple of months.
Yeah, we don't have a sign shop per se, and so the only thing they do are things that they paper and laminate kind of things, and they do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Now,
yeah.
I am curious though, because we had a bunch of signs from the Census Bureau that we put out, and it was interesting because the signs that they had, it was just like a metal, like
Yard
not a yard sign, and then it kind of felt like a plastic bag sort of, and it just kind of slipped in.
Mhm.
So I wonder if we could, use those metal pieces from the census, and then somehow maybe we could print our own signs and then just utilize those, so we could save some money that way, but I'm not exactly sure.
Dan's got experience with this, so help us out.
Politician here. With these signs, for one, getting metal yard sign stands, recycling the census stands would be a great use of that once we're done with that. Also, if we have a little bit of time to wait on this, after November, you're going to have a glut of signs that candidates are going to be happy to get rid of.
Mm-hmm.
Something you could do, and we could talk to some of the campaigns. A lot of the campaigns have these kind of paper sign. They're essentially cardboard that have a gloss coating on the outside. And what you could do is you could cut that on the seams, flip it over, and you'd have a blank canvas on the other side and do whatever you wanted and staple it back together, slide it back over. That's something you could do, so you don't have to worry about cost if you're talking about doing it in-house kind of thing. As far as
And
printing something out.
modeling recycling too, reuse.
I like the idea of recycling those signs because they always just end up in the trash or.
Definitely.
Yeah, I'm trying. Montgomery County has a political sign recycling program that they do that Jen and I are kind of trying to push Bucks County to adopt, but that's not happening this year. But that's one way we could try to reuse things around here.
Yeah.
The plastic bags, not really reusable for much. Once you take them off, they're kind of done. But you can still use the metal stands with them.
Definitely. Yeah, and maybe we could kind of turn this into, not that we could say that we're recycling these signs and these are the new signs, and see if there's an interest in now the new signs.
I think we have a plan.
Yeah.
We don't have to do this right now, but we could wait to collect a bunch of these signs. We could think about how to transform them into insecticide-free zone signs and model the reuse of those election signs. That all sounds good to me. Let's put it on the agenda in the spring. How does that sound? And in the meantime, we collect the signs.
Sounds like a great idea.
The signs you're going to want are I hate to say this, but from the people who lose. They're going to be the ones that want to get rid of their signs the most. The ones who win might want to reuse those signs. That's why I mentioned it.
Well, I think we should maybe give ourselves a number too, though, because I don't want to be asking the road superintendent, hey, go collect these census signs. And now my office is just filled with metal,
Oh, come on, Andrea. You
So
love that.
I know the census, I think there was at least 30 to 40. So, I mean, if we were to collect all of them and they're in decent condition, we'd have 40 already. So.
Let's
Yeah, it's the wire metals, frame that you want.
Yeah.
Let's start with that, the census ones. How about that?
Yeah.
Okay. And Andrea, are you okay with those? Or is there another place where they can be kept?
I'm sure I can make a deal with somebody, but I'll make sure I get my hands on them.
Okay, thanks. That's a great start for an interesting new initiative.
Yeah.
And if for some reason you need a place to store them, I already have a bunch of signs in my garage, so I can just toss them in with that and just keep them separate.
What are you running for next, Dan?
Nothing. Township supervisor again, maybe.
Okay.
It's nice to hear that you have a garage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay, Heidi needs to tell you about another new and wonderful idea. It's item C under new business, native plant pop-up garden and sale, September 26th. Heidi, take it away.
Thanks, Janine. So I just was, kind of brainstorming myself of how we could, reach a broader audience about native plants is also sharing our beautiful native plant brochure during this COVID-19 time. So I thought it would be really fun to just do a simple, easy pop-up native garden exhibit that would be placed by the Kids Castle. And it would just be very simple. It'll be underneath the pavilion. I've already spoke with Karen about this, and Stephanie and Andrea. So we're gonna have a little exhibit by the Kids Castle, and then there's gonna be little arrows pointing to the native garden, which is also a way to draw people up to the beautiful native garden and have a simple sale there. I'm getting plant material from Geno's. Nick has been very generous to help me out with this. I'm gonna be selling plants that are on our brochure. So we can also highlight and show people what these plants actually look like that are in the brochure. And this is going to be on September 26th, which is the time when people are going to be at the native garden cleaning up. So that staff will be there. Those volunteers will be there. Janine will be there. So it's just a way of kind of, making it feel more of a community. I'm keeping it very simple and small because it is COVID. So I'm not going to have a lot of, I didn't really ask all of you guys to help because I just want to keep it really simple. So Andrew's just helping me with putting a flyer together. I'm getting lots of decorations and so on from other folks that have done a pop-up garden, from Valley Forge folks and from Newtown folks. They have pots and display items and a beautiful banner that I'm going to be borrowing from them. So, and then we'll, we're also partnering with Bucks Audubon because they have some of the materials as well. And we'll just, get the word out via social media through Facebook and putting some flyers up and around. And hopefully you guys can spread the word as well. So,
Heidi, make sure you share with the group a few of the photographs of the pop-up garden and sale that occurred last year in Newtown, because those were, they're lovely. And our sale is going to look like that because you already have pots, you have signs, you have banners. It's really going to look very pretty.
It is. It's going to be very nice. And we'll have a little display, brochure holder rather, down at the Kids Castle. And we'll also have a brochure holder up at the sale as well. So it's a way to, show and share our native plant brochure. And Geno's is going to give you some more information, some more signage as well about the different plants. Like Janine is saying, I have lots of materials from the different pop-up gardens that we can choose and decide what works and looks the best. But I have beautiful pots and lots of things to display the plants to, just bring people's attention to what we're doing.
So I'm on your committee because I already said I am.
Yes.
So if anybody else would like to help though, of course you're welcome, because we'll need some setup time.
Right. So yeah, just let me know. John and I will probably be picking up plants on Thursday or Friday, the day right before the 26th, which is a Saturday. So if you want to help, I have a big old pickup truck, so I'm just planning to throw all the plants in the pickup truck and bring them over really early on Saturday and do all the setup. I'll do like a preliminary setup at my house just to make sure it's going to make sense and look pretty. But anyway, I just hope we get some attention for what we're doing at the EAC, and I just really was sad that we're not doing any kind of, table events this whole fall. And I just wanted to grasp, this moment and try to do something that's hopefully inspiring for folks during the fall. And maybe they can pop some of those beautiful native plants into their gardens during the fall.
That sounds so good. We need somebody to take photographs. We need to make sure that we have photos
I'll be there.
of this event. Okay, because, we sometimes forget to do that. And I know I never remember even to bring my phone. So let's make sure we get some good photos of this and we can use them. Someday we're going to put together a beautiful EAC video.
Oh, that'd be great.
That needs to be on the agenda.
Janine, for the workday, what is the time of the workday period?
It's always 9 to 11,
To 11.
but I'm always there by 9:15, usually by 8:30
Okay.
with Steve.
So
So,
it's
yeah.
by 8:30, and I thought I'd run the sale to about 11:30 or so.
Yeah, that makes sense. And there, this week, we'll get to that later. But I do think that that it's going to be a cool event. It's going to be a pretty event, and it just works so well with our brochure.
Exactly.
That brochure is getting attention.
It really is.
I'm
It's
sure you've noticed.
Can we promote that somehow for you, Andrea? Or do we have the time?
I'm planning on it. I had told Heidi, after the 12th, I will get her the flyer on that next Monday, and that gives people 2 weeks to, prepare for it. So it's on the list.
Thank you. I appreciate your help, Andrea. And Bucks Audubon will also be getting the word out too. through their social media network.
Yeah, we're gonna make a Facebook event, and then we can co-host with the Audubon, so we can all share it and invite people and post in the discussion.
Will there be a hard copy of something that we can give to New Britain, Birdtown, and Warrington EAC, for example?
Yeah, I can make like a hard copy flyer and put it on cardstock. Would somebody be willing to come pick it up and then disperse it as they feel necessary? Or if, you know, I could email it to them and they could just print it out on their own.
Let's make a few, not a lot, but let's make a few. I don't know how many that would be. Heidi, what's your thought? A few cardstock handouts. For example, at the New Britain Farmers Market, I know that there's a place for that.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I do think that Warrington EAC would publicize this as well.
Janine, I think, you know, Janine and Andrea, maybe 10 to 15 would be plenty.
Yeah, that's probably enough. Okay, great. That
No
sounds,
problem.
that, you know, well, that sounds like coconut macaroon.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I just want to jump in real quick because I need to leave. So I just want to jump down real quick to the invasive plant of the month. I've been working with Andrea on that, and this month is the barberry. So I've already started working on that information, and Andrea, I'll get it to you in the next couple days. But so anyway, this month is barberry, and I would just want to point out to you guys and let you know, I went on to the Penn State Extension for their information on barberry, and Anne, you'll be happy to hear that they cite identifying that barberry attracts ticks. So it's based on.
Good, yay.
So I was very excited to see that. So I'll tie it
Barberry.
as well with this invasive plant of the month. So I thought that was very exciting that the word is getting out about how barberry and invasives bring ticks to your, you know, to your yard.
That section of the EAC, that section of the township website has our section, the EAC section has the invasive plant of the month on it, and it looks beautiful.
It does.
It's colorful, it's attractive. Andrea is designing it so that it has a consistency to the design. And I'm just so happy to see that up. I would like to, I have shared it on Facebook, but I think, you know, more of us probably want to do that. Just get it out there. We're doing a real service by pointing out that these things are invasive, but the information is detailed and it's very attractively presented. So let's work on getting it out there. Thank you, Heidi, for both of these things.
Pleasure. Well, you guys, listen, I got to run, but thank you so much. It was so nice to see all of you tonight, and I look forward to hearing what was accomplished during this meeting.
Thanks, Heidi.
Thanks, Heidi.
Okay.
Bye, Heidi.
Yeah.
Bye.
So moving along then, any further comment about the native plant pop-up garden and sale on September 26th? It's going to be nice. And maybe as many of you who can be there ought to be there probably. It would be good to see you. You could help with the sale. I'll be there working, but that's okay. I love doing it. So, okay, Paul's Corner, let's go with subcommittee reports. That is this Saturday, 9 o'clock. Now, Andrea sent us all a reminder about that today, which was good.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, we'll be there, Steve and me. Is anybody else going to be there? I hope maybe.
I'll be there.
Okay, great. It's going to be probably very similar to what we did with the 200 trees. I think the planting will probably look similar, feel similar. If you did that, if you were at that event, you'll probably feel totally at home. I look forward to it. Anything else that we need to do or talk about in relation
Do we need to bring any tools or anything, or is the township providing tools, or what do we need?
I know that Chris, because, you know, he does have to travel further than just, you know, at Central Park like we typically are. I know he'll be bringing, you know, probably like shovels and stuff like that. But I do think recommend bringing your own shovels. But if you can't, you know, I'm sure there'll be some.
Okay.
But we are recommending to bring your own stuff.
Besides, some of us have favorite shovels. So we need to bring our favorite shovels so that we're comfortable. I know I have one that I need to use, and Steve has one too that he has to use. So we'll bring our own, but that's okay.
All right. And just remind everybody to wear gloves if you're using someone else's shovel, as well as your masks, as Andrea pointed out in her email.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Pretty amazing.
But I just want to clarify, if we are able to maintain a 6-foot distance, do we need to wear a mask if we're outside and we're more than 6 feet away?
If you're more than 6 feet away with anybody else that you don't like cohabitate with regularly, then yeah, I mean, if you feel comfortable taking your mask off to do the planting, fine. But if you approach anyone else who you're not like living with and all that, and you know, feel uncomfortable, or that person feels uncomfortable, you should put your mask back on, obviously.
Okay. Yeah, and I think it is good, that the people that are going to be planting is, us, and then the same kind of community from the borough. So we're not having kind of like random volunteers that are just showing up out of the woodwork. So I think, we'll all get the job done and be safe. So.
Just to check, the delivery of the trees is going along smoothly?
Yep. So the trees, I have been communicating with Gina over at Schumacher and Associates, and she has done a really great job, placing the order. And now I've been in contact with both Feeney's and the other company, and making sure that they have, our tax exempt forms and that the payment goes through and all of that good stuff. So yeah, everything's been moving smoothly. Chris Mason and Dave Berger are aware of the delivery schedule, and everything's going well so far. So, fingers crossed that it stays that way.
Great, thank you, it's all good. And I hope you feel good about this, because this is what is left of 10 days for trees, but it's a real accomplishment. So I congratulate you on getting all that started.
Well, this was a way to at least take advantage of the money that both the borough and Bucks Beautiful, as well as, of course, our township kicking in. This was really cooperative adventure on this. So it's a good that it's going to happen.
Good to see it reach fruition.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, thank you. So we have a summit coming up on October 7th. Jim, you'll see that on the agenda. I put a suggestion about a topic.
Mhm.
And the reason is because we had that meadow management workshop in February, and many of the people who will be at the EAC summit were at that workshop. And it would be, I think, useful to just add that to the agenda for the summit as a follow-up.
Okay, it's I think the agenda's pretty tight, but you think about 10 minutes?
Oh, yeah, no more. Just a little follow-up moment.
So it's meadow restoration follow-up?
Yeah, we'll call it, well, if you look at the agenda, it's Meadow Management Workshop.
Okay.
It happened in February, just before the pandemic. I think it was the 24th of February. And there were about 80 people there from all over. It was a very successful workshop. And many, as I said, many of the attendees at the summit were there. And I just would like to acknowledge it, see if there was any further follow-up, just get it out there.
Okay.
Okay.
Who's going to who will lead that discussion?
I think Heidi should.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll have to let her know.
I'll add it to the agenda. So, okay, with regard to this, the summit, actually, the summit's now going to occur before our next EAC meeting, right? So is everything essentially in place? Do we need to, obviously the invitations have been sent out. We'll need to send a Zoom link.
So the invitations have not yet been sent out. The RSV, the save the date was sent out.
Okay.
So I would think that if we were to send out the invitation by the 21st, that gives 2 weeks for the actual event.
Okay.
Is that enough time, or do you want to send them out on the 14th and that gives them 1, 2, 3, a little over 3 weeks?
Well, I guess if they have a save the date already,
Yeah.
I would think.
And so the idea, and this is what I thought, is that we could send the invitation and they need to RSVP and respond to the invitation in order to get the Zoom link. Because, I don't think we want to be sending out the Zoom link to 150 people if only 30 of them are coming. So I think, you know, it's like RSVP and then you will get the Zoom link as well as the agenda. Do you think does that work for you guys?
It sounds like a good plan to me.
And then,
Yeah,
I would think
definitely.
so, yeah, but I think,
Oh, go ahead, Jim.
okay, I would
What, Jim?
expect a lot of last minute, last minute requests. So you need to be checking your email probably like right up to the minute, because people will say, oh, how do I get in now? You know, so, but yes, I think that's fine.
okay, yeah,
As
and
long as you
then,
make that clear, Andrea, that's what the RSVP then engenders those things.
yes,
Like,
yeah.
don't leave it up to their imagination. Actually spell it out. 'Cause
yeah, definitely.
we've
they
got a
will.
lot going on right now with school back
Yeah.
and everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we can have the Zoom. Now, Stephanie will have to, I guess, we'll have to figure that out on our end, but probably have the Zoom scheduled to record on Wednesday, October 7th. So then when you guys start, it'll be recording.
That's great.
Do you think we need to, I guess it doesn't necessarily have to record, but we have to be, you know, the ones starting the meeting, because that's the township account and things like that. So
Correct.
do we want to record it? Do you guys want to record it?
You can. It's really easy to set it up that way.
Why not? I mean, rather than look back and say, oh, I wish we had.
Right, but how do you make it available though? Do you post it on the
YouTube.
Well,
do yours.
Yeah, that's the way that I've been doing it with all these meetings. So yeah, we could convert it to an MP4 and I could add like a little title slide and a little, you know, ending slide. Now, if it's something you guys just want to keep internally, great. Or if it's something that you want to share to the public, you know, I don't know if you have to then tell the attendees that they'll be recorded. So I'm not exactly sure how that would.
Yeah, if you're going to record people, you need to let them know.
You know, it seems to me that we have an archive. I don't know if we've ever called it that, but we have an archive of audio and video material connected to EAC events. So an audio of this summit could be useful down the road, maybe not immediately, but it could be useful down the road for the creation of this EAC video that we occasionally talk about.
Okay.
For that
Then
reason,
yeah, I don't think there's any harm in recording it. And if
I don't either.
you know you don't decide to do anything with it right away, that's fine. But at least, like you said, you have it in the archive. So
Yeah.
okay.
Maybe you should then include in the invitation just a note that it's going to be recorded so that
Yeah.
everybody's been informed before they even RSVP.
Okay.
Good idea, Kurt.
Yeah.
I should be on there. Good. Yep.
Okay.
So let me just ask, Jim, are we going to get, I guess we're going to get some kind of organizational agenda or something ahead of time that's kind of nailed down so that,
I'm gonna. In fact, I was just modifying it now. I can show it on the screen if you want to see it right now.
because that's what we'll use to guide the Zoom meeting.
Yeah.
Right,
Okay.
yeah.
I can share it with you right now. Let's see here. Share
What?
screen.
What do you want?
Okay. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, looks nice. I love the green.
Okay, so so this is the agenda that we discussed last time. I added the Meadow Management follow-up here. I spoke, or I had an email from Joe Wallace, who said that they would talk about plastic waste. And Heidi was supposed to connect with Tom Price to see if he would do the Birdtown update. But even if he doesn't, I'm sure Heidi can do that. So, so this is the agenda. Are there any additional comments?
Looks real nice.
Are you going to do a round robin for all those participants? I mean, you usually do that.
Round robin, and well,
Is that your EAC?
It's going to have to be in that 8:10 to 8:30.
well, so
slot.
Yeah, so in the
Not much time, but
at 7:05, right, we're going to be talking about, EAC activities. And I think that that'll be a group discussion, so what's, what are the opportunities here? What's working, what's not working? So Janine will have to moderate that discussion. And then again, at 8:10, we'll come back to, EAC reports. And again, what have people accomplished and what are priorities? So those two sections, I think, are for a group discussion.
Okay.
Open and close then with the opportunity for people to discuss. And each of the opening and the closing have a little different focus. So that's, I think, going to work all right. Okay, I'm happy with it. Can you send this to all of us then so that we have it?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I'll do that.
Okay, that's
Okay.
great.
Very good.
All right. Any further discussion about the summit coming up? I hope it goes smoothly. We'll hope that we have at least 30 attendees. We have in the past, have up to 40, right? Maybe 45 one year.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, we'll see how it goes.
Yep. Good.
Okay. So moving on. Kurt, is there anything to report about Ready for 100?
Well, we got a little bit of a surprise at Ready for 100 this time. We had a supervisor from West Rock Hill. I think that's right, isn't it, Jim? West Rock Hill Township.
Yeah.
And it turns out they have zoomed ahead, and they are about to go out for bids on a solar system that will supply all of the electricity for the township, its activities. So soup to nuts. Yeah. So it was very impressive. They had actually run down the path of doing a power purchase agreement, found out they were a little bit too small to do that. And so they are leaping ahead and going ahead and putting in a solar array and just going to meet all their needs with solar. So I was bowled over. I thought it was fantastic.
wow.
It's fantastic. They're a model for the rest of us.
They really are. And we absolutely want to tout that. So as soon as they get a little bit further along, we're going to be beating the drum about that one.
Fabulous. And of course, again, recording it somehow, good photographs. PowerPoint eventually will evolve from that, no doubt, which we can share with other municipalities. So what a nice surprise, huh?
Yeah, it was fabulous.
Yeah, but there's a lot to learn here, I think. I'm sure we're a bit of a larger township than West Rock Hill. So it suggests to us that even a power purchase agreement might be viable in Doylestown Township. And the other thing they said is that Kurt, correct me here, was that they have an emergency fund. They've decided they're going to spend part of that emergency fund, and they think this will repay, I think they said in 15 years. So within 15 years, it'll be paid back, and then it's basically free electricity for the next, who knows, 20, 25 years after that. So this makes a lot of financial sense. And I think if it can work in a place as small as West Rock Hill, then, it seems to me that we clearly could make this work in Doylestown.
Here's a
Right.
suggestion. In January or February, every council and board needs to report to the Board of Supervisors. It would be a very nice addition to that report, perhaps, to share at least a little bit of this, to show the supervisors that something has already happened in West Rock Hill Township. And I don't need to be the only spokesperson for EAC, It would be really nice to have a couple pictures or something of this.
Yeah. Janine, I think though I should underscore that they are putting out bids now. They haven't actually signed anything yet, right? So presumably they will. They've done all the planning, but I wouldn't want to start touting somebody else's success before before they've actually put a spade in the earth, maybe.
Okay,
So
just a thought. We need to.
yeah.
I mean, we want our board to continue to think about this.
Yeah.
We have the draft resolution, but we need the board to move on it someday. So if they know somebody else is moving on it, that's good. It's just a little encouragement.
Yeah.
Well, that's really good news. I like that, man. So West Rock Hill is up there around like on 313, but off to the left.
Yeah, Tinicum. So I'm near Tinicum. Interestingly, they had never heard of Ready for 100.
No. So this is
We're
independent.
not the only game in town, right?
Yeah. They accelerated right past us.
Wow. I'm amazed by that, actually. Well, how did you guys find out then?
So Maggie Rash, who's a supervisor in Buckingham, invited me to talk to the Bocado Executive Committee. And
What is that?
Bocado is the Bucks County Association of Township Officials.
Oh, okay.
So Barbara is, I'm blocking that. Barbara, right? Barbara
Lines.
is on that. Barbara Lyons, I'm sorry, is on that executive committee. So I presented Ready for 100, and Jim Miller was like, wow, I didn't know you guys were doing this. We're already doing this in West Rock Hill. So so that was a nice connection there. And Maggie wants to also spread the word about Ready for 100 through the rest of Bocado, and also perhaps to a similar organization at the state level. So we're starting to get a little traction here.
Okay.
And so, yeah, that was a sort of nice side benefit from that meeting. So that was a very useful meeting.
Was that a Zoom meeting?
It was Zoom, yeah.
It was Zoomed. Okay, so that's very nice. That's good. I love this. That we're moving along in so many good directions.
Yeah.
So, anything else about it? Ready for 100?
And Dan promised to get us a meeting with the township staff, right, Dan?
Scheduled tentatively for Thursday.
Friday.
It's coming Thursday?
Yeah.
No, Friday. Isn't it Friday?
Sorry, was it Friday? I thought,
Oh,
double checking my calendar.
okay.
No, you're right. Sorry, Stephanie. Friday.
First I'm hearing about it.
Yeah, Township Electric, Township Building, 10 o'clock.
Okay, that's not going to work for me because I'm at work. But can anybody else make that?
Unfortunately, I have a conflict as well.
I'll be there, Jim, if you want to give me a list of questions to ask and that kind of thing.
Okay, yeah, I'll do that.
Oh, Tanya didn't make this meeting. I thought she was going to be here. Maybe Tanya can be there. I know she's still
Yeah.
working, but I don't know. And she has some
All
family stuff going on. But we could ask Tanya too. If somebody will email her, see if she can fit that into her schedule.
Okay, I'll send you some questions, but I really would like to be able to participate. But I won't be able to do it on Friday. All right, well, why don't you have a preliminary meeting and then hopefully we can schedule a follow-up to see, presumably township staff will have questions back to us as well.
Will do.
Okay.
Good, moving along. Anything else? Ready for 100? All right, moving through our agenda. Well, invasive plant of the month. We talked about it already because Heidi had to leave early. I think that September is Japanese barberry, but I think that October will be burning bush. We did that last October and we had a hands-on workshop removing burning bush near Kids Castle last year. It was fun. How many people were there? 12 or 14, Andrea? It was a nice group. Your audio's not on.
Yes, but we did have about 12. Are we still on to have the October 24th workshop that we scheduled earlier in the year?
You know what? I forgot about that. That was the hands-on burning bush workshop, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would like to do that. It was so useful. And I think we also worked on looking at and identifying wineberry.
Mm-hmm.
It was
And I think with that, I mean, you know, everyone was working, but everyone was like working independently.
yeah.
So
I think we should,
for now, we'll keep it unless something crazy happens.
yeah, let's keep it on the schedule. And we do have another EAC meeting before that. So
Okay.
we'll put that on the October meeting agenda. But yeah, I think we should keep that. Does anybody disagree? Let's try to do that. It was really useful for people. The fact that we can also now hang information at the Environmental Education Center in the showcase is fabulous. And we can make a sign that invites people to come to this invasive plant workshop on October 24th. Let's make a sign. Can you make a sign after the 12th? I mean, you know, when your time is more
Sure.
Okay, great. And we'll hang it down there. So, incidentally, that's next anyway. Okay, native plant demonstration garden. We had only 5 people there this past week, but it was a problem because I had to postpone our September workday since the weather was so bad. Whenever I postpone that workday, which is always the last Saturday of the month, attendance is always lower. It just happens because regular attendees are used to coming the last Saturday of the month. I do have to say that I would like it if we could drum up a few more volunteers. This past Saturday, there were 5 of us. Steve was the only one young enough and capable enough to carry mulch in buckets. All the rest of us were disabled or too old or something else was
Right.
going.
But Janine, this was also a holiday weekend, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Mhm.
Yes. Yeah, it was. So I'm a little bit discouraged. I don't want to be discouraged, but if you know somebody who might want to come out and put in 2 hours.
Yeah,
Please.
what about the high school students? We've always had a lot of success with the high school students.
Yeah, this year it's a little different. In fact, I haven't even contacted the Honor Society
Mhm.
advisor yet, but I intend to for October. Yeah.
Okay.
But anyway, we had 5 volunteers. We actually got a lot done. We cleaned up the entrances and we did lay down cardboard and mulch in areas that were really covered with weeds. It got a little bit away from us this year because we missed 3 months of work. However, it's still blooming. It still looks pretty darn good. And people walking by always stop to chat and tell us how much they enjoy that garden. Now, the other thing about the garden, this coming week, September 14th, we will find out if we won an award for this year.
Oh, good.
So it's coming right up. Next week, they're going to post it and email participants. So as soon as we hear something, everybody will know. Fingers crossed, it would be awfully nice to win again. On any level, I don't care. I don't care what level, but I hope we get recognized. And Andrea, I want to thank you again for putting together the virtual application. You know that I'm clumsy with anything that's more technological than email. And well, I can text now too, but that was such a great help. And let's fingers crossed that the virtual application did the trick. I think it looked really good. So let's hope. And the new tree signs. Anne is working on new tree signs with Andrea. They look like they're really coming along. The process is a little clumsy because we have to do things virtually. Let's talk. Anne, Andrea, the process of the tree signs, we need to make it work.
Well, you and I had talked on the phone, which I thought was good. It helped me clarify a little bit too, that we might do something with each of us having hard copy. I mean, I can print here, but you want to get a hard copy from Andrea and work that way, maybe as the 3 of us be on a Zoom or something at the same time.
And Tanya has expressed an interest in being part of this as well.
And if Tanya can do it, that is wonderful. I know she's got quite a lot going on too, but
I thought she said she didn't want to be involved.
I emailed her to find out how she is because there's been some family stuff going on. And she said she would like to be included.
she'd at least like to see what we're doing, I think. I don't know how active she can be right at the moment. It depends, I guess, on her workload as far as school and her kids. And, this is a very busy time of year. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I would be more than happy to print out the larger size hard copies for you guys if you want to pick them up, and then you can, write on them, or, if you have a design and you cut out, white pieces of paper and say, oh, picture, square for picture and text, or something. Okay. And we kind of like what we did with our foam board, and we can try to do that.
I think
hands-on
approach.
It is more challenging this way. And my husband and I spent about an hour and a half trying to get a way to edit the document that you sent, the text document that you sent or the whole thing, the signed document. and
You
we just cannot do it. So
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to.
there is, I guess, a program we could purchase, and then that would allow us, but it's, kind of ridiculous for a sign to buy a whole program. So
Mhm.
I've spent a lot of time on it, but not a lot to show for it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And I thought your visuals were really good. And I think I sent you like quite a lot of
You did.
corrections on the one sign. And I just didn't know what to do with the second sign. That's why I called Janine. As I said, I'm not sure even what we're trying to do with this. So I guess the point was, I think that the three of us, once we all have something in front of us, might be able to work collectively on it and see if we can advance it that way. We're still, it's in process. We're still working.
And they're going to be beautiful. Stephanie, is it possible for us to have a small Zoom meeting about
Yeah.
these three signs?
Sure.
Once we have the hard copy of the draft in front of us, if Andrea and Ann and maybe Tom and I can have these in front of us so we can talk about it. We can, I think that would smooth over the process and would be we'd probably get to the product faster and easier.
Right. The other thing is you can come into the township building during the day and we can put you in the main meeting room and you can all spread out and,
I'm not comfortable with that. I'm sorry. I'm very paranoid about COVID, and I'm just not going into buildings.
Okay.
Okay, we'll do it by Zoom then. Let's wait a little bit. When we have the hard copies of the drafts, I guess we'll just move forward and schedule a time for a Zoom meeting. That makes sense to me, and I think it's going to work. Wait till the rest of you see the signs. They're going to be gorgeous. Okay, so old business, Don Richardson's memorial tree and bench. I mentioned these once before. The money has been sent. The plaque inscription, Bert DeVries wants to write something up, and I've gotten the guidelines for her, and I sent them to her. We'll see how fast that comes. Marty Brooks was at the garden on Saturday, and he likes the placement of both the tree and the bench. If anybody else wants to go and see where the tree and the bench are proposed to be installed, let me know. I'll meet you over there. I think it's going to look really cool.
Yeah, Janine, in order to order the bench and everything, I'll confirm that the money's received, but I need the wording for the plaque to go to the company and everything.
Yeah, and I encourage her.
Yeah.
She's a little infirm, and she's really isolated in Ocean City, New Jersey right now. And so, but I am in touch with her, and we have a nice email relationship, so I'll remind her of that.
Okay, great.
Okay. The Deer article, Jim, that you wrote, are we going to use it? When are we going to use it? Where should it go? It's good. Residents do want to know that at least deer are on our minds.
Yeah. Andrew, what do you think? Is it already on the township website, the Deer article?
I think it may be. I think under the EAC page where we have like our efforts.
Okay, I haven't looked.
I have to double check.
And then I guess it can go in the next township newsletter as well.
Okay, that would be the fall newsletter. I think that would be a good time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me know if it's too long. I can trim it down.
Okay. Yeah, I'm starting the process of the fall newsletter now, so I'm not sure lengthwise, but I'll definitely let you know.
Okay.
You're a busy bee, Andrea, as usual.
Okay, let's see. I think I think it is up there. But I'll make sure tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay, thanks, Andrea. Thanks, Jim. Native plant brochure. New Britain Borough Birdtown Committee wants to buy 25. I'm supposed to take 25 over to the farmer's market tomorrow, give them to Tom Price. I told him that he should send a check directly to the township and on the check line say EAC brochure. Does that square up with policy? Okay, so
Yeah,
I'll give him the 25 brochures tomorrow when I see him at the farmer's market then. Let's see. That brochure, just one more thing about that. Two women who regularly walk near the native plant garden passed by early when Steve and I were the only ones there on Saturday morning. And they stopped to chat. And I I said, did you pick up our brochure? And they hadn't noticed the little box that has those brochures. So I said, take one. They opened them up. They gasped. They were so enthusiastic. They said, this is such a great thing. Thank you so much. So, slowly but surely, we're going to make some inroads with all of the information that we're giving people. And that brochure is a real star. Okay, the mini forest idea, it's just an idea, but perhaps someday we can have a list of some properties. Stephanie, what do you think about that? Last month you talked about how they need to be surveyed, and that could be very costly.
Well, the ones that we have and we know about in the open spaces, we have those on a map. Andrea can pull the open space map and get it to you. But yeah, like the property that the woman talked about a couple meetings ago, that has to be surveyed because we need to know where the property boundaries are, and the guys have been out there and they can't find the pins or, anything. So yeah, we're going to have to be, that's going to be, that could get expensive. You're right. I mean,
Yeah.
something like that. It's a smaller, that's a smaller property, might be $1,000, but, and Dave has money in his budget for stuff like that, but I don't want to be out there, surveying hundreds of properties either.
No.
Which is ours. We want to know what's what. So, I mean, some of the other ones we're hoping we'll be able to find the pins on,
Yeah.
but I think you start with the open space map. That would probably be the best thing to do.
Okay. And what would your advice be for Kara Raymond, who is the woman who wanted us to take a look, and I did take a look at the township property next to her place on Wilkshire Road. What is that follow-up for her?
Yeah, I think the follow-up for her is we're going to have to survey our open space there and figure out where the pins are and where those trees are and whether they are over the property line or not. That's the only way we can help her. Because there's no pins out there, and they went looking for them and they couldn't find them.
So, is it?
I mean, you got to understand. I mean, we picked that subdivision originally was from like the early 1900s.
Yeah, you were telling me.
Those were all movie. Yeah, those were all movie lots that were
Right.
sold.
Yeah.
And so we picked that up at like upset sales tax, where people didn't pay their taxes over the years, and probably picked it up sometime in the 60s or 70s.
Right.
And just kind of kept it open. So I'm not surprised that there aren't pins and things like that.
Yeah. So if she says something like contribute to the surveying cost, would that be okay, or is that not okay? What if she said
that's okay, but I wouldn't incur. I mean, that would be fine. We could share the cost.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of guessing that I don't think she would really do that. That could be expensive.
Yeah. So like
Yeah.
about $1,000.
And we're not going to survey her property. We're surveying our borderline with her.
Right.
So, I mean, it shouldn't be too bad because you're really just getting two or 3 points,
Okay.
But Dave's reaching out to get some information on that.
Okay, that'd be great to let's follow that in October. And
Okay.
it would be great to have that open space map. So all of us should see it, because then we can envision, is it possible for us to have a green corridor of mini forests? I mean,
Okay, I'll work on sending it to you guys.
okay, I'd love to see that open space map. Thank you. Is there anything else that anybody would like to bring up at tonight?
Yes, I have one item that the park board, Karen asked me to share with you, just for informational purposes, because the park board voted on it tonight. There's a Eagle Scout candidate from Boy Scout Troop 139, Matthew McDevitt, and he's proposed, he still has to get approved by BSA and all that, but he's proposed a Central Park disc golf course. It's a very popular, there's actually a Bucks County disc golf group, society, whatever. And so I have the map. They gave me hard copies so I can show it to you. I can't see if you can see it, but you can kind of see where they're proposing through Central Park. We made sure they stayed out of the meadow and everything like that, because originally they had it kind of going through there. So they asked them to it's just 9 holes. But it kind of skirts around there, but I think it'll be great because people will be able to read the information that's out there and see what's going on in parts of the park that they usually don't. So the Park and Recreation Board voted his Eagle Scout project to move forward in the park. We always work with Eagle Scouts or potential Eagle Scouts, so we're excited about that. It's an expensive project undertaking for him. It's like $6,500. And Dan knows from that usually the Scouts, usually they spend maybe $500 to $1,000. $1,500 is the most I've ever seen on a project in terms of what they do. So Karen just wanted me to let you guys know as well.
How's he raising money?
He's got like 100 companies and stuff that he's going to be reaching out to, all related to disc golf. And surprisingly, he told the group that there is a new disc golf store just up north on 611.
There is. Yeah, he's right about that. Yeah.
Yeah, and apparently this is very, very popular. I didn't know there was like a whole group in Bucks County that does, that supports disc golf. So we're cutting edge for Central Park again, And they did look at other locations, but I think this is going to be great for the park.
I have
So
two
just wanted to share that with you.
I have two questions about disc golf. Is it like a frisbee that you throw?
Yes, it's a
Yeah.
frisbee that you throw into like a basket.
Okay,
Funny
and so
thing.
when this is in place,
Mhm.
will somebody like me, if I'm riding my bike in Central Park, could I be hit by a frisbee?
I don't think so.
No, it's going to be like away from the trails.
It kind of crosses, but they have to be aware. They have to, people who are doing it are going to have to be aware of what's going on and everything. Park board asks those questions too. So they'll make sure that, if we have to put up little signs or something, people both will have to be aware of it. But I think it'll be fine. Hopefully people are better at tossing the frisbee than that. But
And the township wouldn't supply the frisbees, right? You would come with your own
you
frisbees.
bring your own frisbee.
And yeah, I haven't
So-
seen it. I've heard of it, but I haven't seen it yet. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks for that.
Sure, no problem.
Anybody else? Last call. Anything else?
Yep.
Okay, let's have a motion to adjourn.
I motion that we adjourn the meeting.
Second.
I'll second.
Okie dokie. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Wonderful to see everybody tonight.
So,
All right.
As always, lots on the list.
Dan, see you at 8 a.m. on the next
Okay.
Zoom call. Yay.
All right.
Yep, tomorrow morning at 9, right, though?
8 o'clock, even better.
Yeah. See you at 9. See Dan at 8.
9, yeah.
Yeah. You don't have to
We
get up.
panicked there for a second.
Dan and I have a whole nother meeting at 8 o'clock.
Oh,
And
okay.
then
That one
see you at
usually
9
goes
o'clock.
quick,
I know.
so.
I'm just zooming away here with everything.
See
All
somebody
right.
Saturday morning, then at the tree planting.
Right.
Thanks.
And then on the 12th. See y'all. Bye.
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 Bye.